Yes, welcome to a big edition of EFL TV. A big round of EFL action coming up. We're only 3 weeks to go until the Choose Tap Finals series, and we are all over it. One man is always all over everything in the Eastern Football League. Is Peter Frosty Baird, and he joins me today on EFL TV. Hello, Frosty.
G'day, Ben. Only 4 weeks to go in Division 1, 3 weeks to go in Divisions 2, 3 and 4. I can smell those finals in the air just around the corner.
Yeah, I can smell those finals. One team that was smelling finals, particularly before last weekend, but didn't eventuate and might not smell as good now, is the South Croydon Football Club. As we have a look at the Division 1 ladder, South Croydon still sits inside that top 5, but East Ringwood did a bit of a number on South Croydon on the weekend in the Frank Mason Shield at the Bendigo Bank Cup out there. Great win for East Ringwood in the end, Frosty.
It was a really great win for East Ringwood, and I was confident East Ringwood would actually get that win. They were very impressive against South Croydon earlier in the year when we saw them out there at East Ringwood Reserve. It's so hard to turn around a 100-point defeat earlier in the year to try and turn that into a win in the second half of the year. And South Croydon, although they sat in the top 5, just weren't able to do that on the weekend.
Have they got the measure of has East Ringwood got the measure of South Croydon, do you reckon?
It's a tough call, but South Croydon, they need to start to get something happening. There's only 4 weeks to go. Their run home's a little bit tough. So that run home for that last spot in Division 1 is going to be absolutely critical. And it's going to be really exciting to watch the way it unfolds.
Well, let's have a look at the run home for Division 1. And as we have a look at the run home in Division 1, South Croydon, Roeville and Lilydale are the two teams, the three teams, I should say, that we're going to focus on. Out of those three teams at the moment, Frosty, is there a team that stands out? Obviously, South Croydon with a slight advantage because they do have an extra win up their sleeve, but their percentage isn't as good. Who's your tip to make that 5th spot?
Well, it's really going to be interesting. South Croydon, a couple of tough games against Balwyn and Norwood. Roeville have probably got the easiest run home out of those three teams. Lilydale have a tough game in the final round against Noble Park. I can see Roeville and Lilydale winning 3 of their 4 games. South Croydon, maybe 2 of them. It might come down to percentage between those three teams as to who fills that 5th spot. Going by that, I reckon the Hawks are in the box seat right at the moment.
As we continue our look at the EFL agenda, let's continue to have a look at Division 2. And Frosty, Upper Ferntree Gully just continue to amaze us. They were able to get a victory over Doncaster East in the end. They're now level with Donvale on the bottom of that Division 2 ladder. Only 1 point something percentage separating the two teams. You know that off the top of your head. Upper Ferntree Gully now look like they're staying in Division 2 next year.
1.37% separating these two teams.
Playing at home.
As we have a look at the run home in that relegation battle, Ben Waterworth, it's going to be critical. Donvale, they've got really tough games to go against Muralbark and North Ringwood. Upper Ferntree Gully, they've still got to play Croydon and Bayswater. Big crunch game against Mulgrave this weekend. But I can't even dispel the Waverley Blues and Doncaster East from that relegation battle at the moment. They're a game ahead of them. If Donvale and Upper Gully can pinch a win, perhaps we might see one of those teams going down. Unfortunately, I think it could be all over for the Vales for 2013. I think they might be headed to Division 3 as my tip for next year.
There you have it. Peter Baird calling the big shots here on EFL TV. Now we turn our attention to the top end of the ladder, and the big game this weekend is North Ringwood taking on Croydon. Now both teams suffered, I suppose you could say, upset losses last weekend. North Ringwood going down to Mulgrave, and we're out there to see Croydon go down to Bayswater. Great effort by Bayswater, but it sets up a very intriguing contest because now the top 4 is nice and evenly separated with Muralbark winning last weekend. This is going to be a big clash.
It's a huge game, but I think the team that loses that game kisses goodbye the double chance for Division 2 this year. Only 2 teams can get the double chance with a Final 4 in Division 2. Muralbark were the big winners last weekend with both Croydon and North Ringwood going down in surprise losses. They need to keep winning, but the winner of that game, they keep their hopes alive of a double chance. It's going to be a really important game, so we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out.
Let's have a look at the Division 3 ladder, Peter Baird. And down the bottom, we continue to see Warrandyte and the White Horse Pioneers occupy those 2 bottom spots. But will those 2 spots change at the end of Saturday night? Because the 2 teams meet each other in arguably the biggest game of Division 3 football this year. This is a massive game. These 2 teams have played some pretty close encounters over the past couple of years. We think back to round 18 last year. Are we set for another close one on the weekend?
Quite possibly, Ben. White Horse, they're a game behind Warrandyte at the moment, but they've got the superior percentage. A win out there on the weekend will see them overtake the Bloods, get themselves off the bottom of the ladder, could possibly secure their spot in Division 3 next year. It's going to be an absolutely crunch game. It's probably one of the biggest games of Division 3 for the year. Yep. It's going to be an absolute ripper. I'm going to tip the Pioneers to get up. I think they might have what it takes.
They do play their home ground a lot better. Tony Vitaka always says they're a 5-goal better team at Springfield Park, the soccer ground of the Eastern Football League. Now let's have a look at the big boys of Division 3. In that top 4, Frosties, we have a look at the run home. The run home, very intriguing. All 4 teams now 12-3 and competing for a double chance.
Unfortunately, Ben, 4 doesn't go into 3.
No.
Only 3 teams will get that double chance. As we
Yes.
look at that run home, it's going to be absolutely really interesting to see how it pans out. Boronia going to the top of the Division 1 ladder now. They've got Ringwood, Mitcham and Templestowe. Doncaster move up to second with games against the Basin, Warrandyte and Mitcham. Wantirna South, I reckon they're in the box seat to take away the minor premiership. They've got 3 very winnable games against Heathmont, Whitehorse and Ringwood. And Mitcham, they've got all the work to do. I reckon they're the team that misses out on that double chance. They've got Chirnside Park, Boronia and Doncaster. I reckon that's the toughest out of the draws for all those 4 sides.
Let's have a look at the ladder in Division 4 as we start to wrap up the EFL agenda for this week. In Peter Baird, we have a look at the game between Forest Hill and Nunawading last weekend. Forest Hill, you tipped them to lose that game, I remember quite correctly. Forest Hill got over the line by 2 points in the end. Nunawading, so gallant, couldn't quite get there in the end, but that was a game that Forest Hill desperately needed to win.
It was. Forest Hill, they've been the best of the rest for so long in Division 4, probably just occupying that spot just outside the finals. They've crept inside the top 5 for the first time in a couple of months now. They're in the box seat to play finals this year. They just need to keep that form going for the rest of the year.
Well, Forest Hill is one of those teams competing for that 5th spot in Division 4, Frosty. Out of the run homes, as we have a look at the run homes for both teams, out of the run homes across all 4 divisions, Division 4 is arguably the most exciting. We've got Forest Hill, Coldstream, Surrey Park and Park Orchards. Coldstream take on Sylvan this weekend at Coldstream. That's a Sunday game as well, so should get a big crowd out there. How are you seeing that run home in Division 4?
I reckon that game could decide whether or not Coldstream can get in there. They've got a really good percentage, not as good as Forest Hill, but that's going to be a crunch game. Coldstream still have to play South Belgrave as well. I can't see them getting over the Saints in that one. That might be all she wrote for the Cougars if they go down to Sylvan this weekend. You look at Forest Hill, they've probably got 2, I think they'll probably win 2 of their 3 games they've got remaining. That'll see them go to probably 9 wins for the year. Surrey Park have got very winnable games against Canterbury and Nunawading. They meet Forest Hill in round 18. That could be the game that decides whether or not we have 3 teams all on the same number of wins. As we saw in Division 1, only percentage separating them. If Surrey Park can get over Forest Hill in that one, I reckon it could come down to percentage. Going by that, there's not much percentage between those 3 sides, only 9% at the moment, but you'd have to like Forest Hill. They've got that percentage gap at the moment. I reckon they're going to play finals.
There you have it. That's the agenda done and dusted on EFL TV for yet another week. Now, this weekend's radio game, Peter Baird, and I know you're very excited to head out to the beautiful Mulgrave Recreation Reserve where Ryan James's Mulgrave takes on Andy Heyman's Upper Ferntree Gully. 2 best mates in the coach's box going head-to-head. It's a big game for Upper Ferntree Gully, and with Donvale with a very tough game. Upper Ferntree Gully, win or lose, still might find themselves off the bottom of Division 2.
It could quite well be. Both these teams had, people may have thought, surprise wins on the weekend, getting up in really tough situations as well. So they warrant having a bit of attention out there. One of them's going to have 2 wins in a row and really secure, remove themselves from that relegation battle. The other still might have a little bit of work to do.
They certainly do. So it's a big weekend of Division 2 action, always a big weekend of action across all 4 divisions. Frosty, thanks for your work today, and looking forward to seeing you next week on the EFL TV agenda.
Absolutely, really looking forward to this as well. Just trying something different this week, Benny, changing it up a little bit, removing some of the segments, putting them up throughout every day on the EFL website.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned to efl.org.au right throughout the week to check out all the regular segments like Club Corner, the EFL TV Player of the Week, and Ray's Rant might make an appearance later on in the week. That's been us for yet another week of EFL TV. We'll catch you next week.